Hey guys, welcome back to Bullpen Banter, and today we got a special guest, Hunter Dobbins, on here. He just joined the 40-man rotation for the Boston Red Sox, former Texas Tech pitcher, grew up here in Texas, College Station, right?
Yeah.
Out of College Station, yeah. So funny enough, he not a big A&M guy though. I know he hates them actually. So Hunter, man, how are you feeling about being on the Red Sox 40-man rotation, and what's some expectations?
Feeling good. It's just another challenge, another level. Just kind of just powering through till spring training. Go try to earn a spot, see if I can crack the 26 man. But just another set of expectations put on you, and go out there and do your job and see what happens.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Yeah, so Hunter finished the season really strong last year, worked his way up from Double A all the way to the top of the rotation in Triple A, and earned himself on a 40 man over the offseason, guys. So Hunter's a good arm to look out for. I was telling Scott about Hunter the first time I played catch with him, man. He was coming off of his Tommy John surgery, and I was like, man, this dude got drafted and all this good stuff. And I was like, he didn't have that many innings because of his injury and stuff. And then the first time I played catch with him, he almost took my head off. So threw about 80 miles an hour from 40 feet and it moved about 37 inches on top of that. So I was like, yeah, no, that's okay, man.
Yeah, that was the hardest part coming back, was trying to like govern it a little bit. It's just you feel good and it just comes out the hand. You're like, and then you got to remember somebody's got to catch that. You're like, oh my bad. But yeah, it was coming in hot. That's for sure.
Yeah, no. How did it feel coming back after Tommy John did it? Did you have any pain, anything like that?
I mean, your normal stuff. You got some of the scar tissue that breaks up. You got some more mental hurdles you got to go over. It's like you're every time you throw a baseball, something doesn't feel quite right, and you're like, "Oh, was that my elbow again? Was it this? Was it that?" And you're like, "No, I'm just being soft. It's like my elbow's fixed. I just gotta go throw."
No, yeah, absolutely. Scott, you got anything you want to ask him here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess I could just kind of wanted to say, man, I love your mentality when it comes to being tough, and I think that's just kind of that Texas grind set. I was listening to an interview you did with a Red Sox podcast, brother, and
Mm.
you said if you're soft, brother, if you're not mentally tough, go play soccer. And I just wanted to say, bro, when you said that shit, I immediately became a fan. So I'm really looking forward to watching you progress through the leagues.
I appreciate it. Yeah, they gave me a hard time about that after we got off of that, because they're like, "Man, you're not gonna make any fans." Because I also started going in on lacrosse as well, but they're like, "Oh, let's pump the brakes." I was like, "All right, fair enough. We'll attack one community for the day."
No, for sure, man. You say that Humble gives lessons to the youth. What's your goal about like going around teaching the youth this game?
I mean, if we don't, there isn't going to be a game down the line. It's kind of one of those. There's a lot of coaches out there that are giving lessons and stuff right now that have no idea what they're talking about. They're just trying to money grab, and so if it's the players at the top level, players who played at a high level. It if we don't teach the youth, then they're gonna go to those guys that really don't know what they're doing, and the game and the product on the field is gonna go downhill quick. So it's kind of our responsibility to one, play the game, but also grow the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. I had a coach down in Virginia who pretty much said the same thing, man. It's our responsibility to teach this game the way it's meant to be played. And, that doesn't mean like everything's got to be super old school, but it also doesn't mean like it's our job to teach these kids the right way to do things for sure, man. So you had 22 strikeouts and 20 and two-thirds inning finishing up the year or in spring training last season. What's your expectations for spring training this year?
I really don't know. First big league camp,
Yeah.
so I'm going to get in, just try to absorb as much as I can from some of those older guys that
Yep.
have had a lot of success. I know I'm going to get a chance to throw in some big league spring training games. So just go out there, be myself, do my thing, and then just kind of overall just try to like off the field find find out how they carry themselves, how they handle their business and stuff at the big league level. I mean, it's not going to be a whole lot different than AAA, but there's those nuances and all that part of big league life, and so gonna just soak it up and enjoy it as much as I can.
Hell yeah, man. So, in your last three starts, your fastball was averaging 96 miles per hour, man. You're fucking throwing that gas. Can we expect to keep seeing about that same mile per hour, or are we going to see a little bit of a jump this season?
I think pitching wise, I'm gonna stay right around there. Definitely been working on some stuff for, if the guy's looking for the off speed and a strikeout count, kind of have that extra tick or two to rear back and try to blow one by him. But just trying to kind of maintain that spot at that 96 and kind of see what I can do on the upper end of it. But no, I think that's a good healthy mark for me, and I'm gonna be able to do that over 180 200 innings.
Yeah, man. So piggybacking off Scott right there, man. So I know Hunter's never been a like big like velo is everything guy. I kind of know that about him. He plays the game to pitch, and that's pretty cool because that's kind of rare in today's game. But at the same time, say you're a guy out of the bullpen, you're gonna reach back for a little more if your job's only 1 or 2 innings versus a starter where you're 5 to 6.
Yeah, I gotta kind of figure out that approach a little
Yeah.
bit because I'm always the starter that if you're gonna get me, you got to get me in the first or second inning because by the third, fourth inning comes, I'm starting to throw a lot harder. Stuff starting to really settle in. Because I've always thrown my hardest in the fifth or fourth to fifth inning is when my velo peaks in the start. But yeah, I definitely think if they say, hey, you got 2 innings, go air it out. Might go see if I can go touch 100 or something like that. Kind of be kind of cool.
Dope. Yeah, that'd be fire. Yeah, so you're recently over at the Boston Red Sox Fan Fest, man. Tell us about that. How'd it go?
Good. Kind of first taste of the off the field life of the big leagues. Interacting with the fans, doing the kind of the public relations stuff, interacting with a bunch of the kids there. Kind of like what we were talking about, growing the game a little bit, getting them excited about the season. But then off the field, like going over to the children's hospital, like kind of using the clout behind our names and like kind of our who we are, using our platform to you know make a kid's day that's in a tough spot. Uh, like stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. And then we were up there for after that. I think for about another 3 days, just working out. We were with the big league nutritionist, big league strength coaches, pitching development staff. Got to talk to Cora a couple times, Andrew Bailey a couple times. So it's like it was a lot of fun, like really just finding out what they expect out of us and what we need to work on last about a month before spring training.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It looked like a good time. Saw you playing some catch at Fenway. Pretty cool stuff. Cold up there? A little colder than down here in
Oh, it was
Texas?
freezing. It was, 'cause I think the first day we were there for Fan Fest, it snowed like 4 or 5 inches. And then it was like just windy and cold the next like 3 days. And it was just bouncing off the snow already. We were like, I think we lasted like 5 minutes outside playing catch. And we're like, yep, we're good. And took it in.
Yeah, that's big league mentality right there.
Hmm. We're like, yeah, we'll take it to the indoor.
Yeah, man. So I guess I was listening to that interview you're doing with that podcast, and you talked about being a jack of all trades guy and kind of being that team first guy. Then even Ethan was mentioning that uh, you being a starter compared to being a reliever. Do you really have do you have a preference of what are your expectations? You talk about a lot of what your team's expectations are for you, but what are your expectations for yourself?
I mean, I know I'm a long-term starter in the bigs. It's just kind of that's who I am. Uh, just kind of how the game is nowadays is most of the time, unless you're Paul Skeens, you're gonna get your first taste in the big leagues out of the bullpen in an extended kind of swingman role, and then that next year you go and compete for that rotation spot. So that's why I kind of bring up the whole relief thing. It's like if that's what they need out of me this year, I'm happy to do it. But no, I definitely my expectation for me is to be a starting pitcher for 99% of my career, and just kind of to be that. I'll never be the here's 12 strikeouts every game. I'll never be like a guy like Garrett Crochet, high strikeout numbers, electric stuff. But I'm gonna be one of those guys that stands out there, and you're gonna look up and be like, oh, it's the sixth inning, and it's a 2-0 ball game, and oh, he's still going. So it's like, you know, not gonna walk a lot of guys, limit some damage, and just still be out there in the late innings.
Hell yeah, man. I love that mentality. And like, I don't know, just I can tell by the way, like I haven't even met you yet. Like this is our first interaction. I can tell over the phone, over the video, like you can just carry yourself as like that kind of man that wants to really, really be there and be solid. And I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, we
I
need more
appreciate
guys
it. Yeah,
like
this
that.
stuff. Oh yeah, it's. I personally think we chase whiff and strikeouts way too much as starting pitchers. If you're a reliever, go punch out the side. Go be nasty. You got 35, 40 pitches to get through an inning or two. Go let it rip. But at the end of the day, if I'm a starting pitcher and I'm getting pulled after the fourth inning because my pitch count's high because I was chasing strikeouts, I'm no good to anybody at that point. So I'm definitely old school in that fashion of let me go out there, throw 100 pitches, and I'll see you in the seventh inning.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, those guys who chase the strikeouts, like myself included in college, are nice, but it doesn't do you much good if it's the fourth inning when we're doing that. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have someone go like 6 or 7 because, man, it doesn't feel like many people are doing it all that much anymore. So we talked a little bit about prospects over the phone and things like that, man. Tell us about the importance of catchers knowing how to call their own games.
One of the most important aspects of a catcher's game. It's being able to build the trust over or like with your pitching staff. And if I trust you as a starting pitcher, I'm not going to shake a whole lot. I'm going to trust what you're seeing, and it gives me a whole lot more confidence. And now with the pitch clock, a lot more time just to focus in on, all right, this is what he wants. All right, what do I need to do to get this pitch in that spot? And so I can just kind of lock in on what I need to do and not worry about cycling through all the pitch com buttons trying to figure out what pitch we're throwing here. But yeah, I mean, if a catcher can hit, it's a bonus. If he can block, great. I can bury a ball for a strikeout if I need to. But at the end of the day, if a catcher can call a good game, I couldn't care less what his batting average is. If he's a good defensive guy and a good quarterback back there for us, dude, you can go hit 050 and I wouldn't care. You'd still be my guy.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I mean, it's nice to know that you can bury a curveball or a splitter in the dirt, and it's not gonna end up in a pass ball or a wild pitch or anything like that. So tell us a little bit about this minor league rotation, man. You said that you think this rotation could beat a few like MLB teams, man. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, I've seen on Twitter, I mean, there's a bunch of guys saying that the Red Sox now have a 10-man big league rotation. It's like we got I'm gonna just off the top of my head. There's 4 guys that I think could be big league starters right now for close to half the league. Like I'm not talking about like 1 or 2 guys. I'm saying like our rotation could be that big league team's rotation. Um, it's like we got Quinn Priester from the Pirates. He actually pitched the last game for us. Looked really good. Richard Fitz. He came over from the Yankees. Went from the bad guys to the good guys. Uh, he's made great stuff. I think he in like I think he made 5 or 6 starts up in Boston last year, and I think he had like a 2 something ERA, uh, and was really starting to settle in. Then you got Josh Winkowski, possibly who could be down there. Cooper Criswell. You got me, Zach Penrod. Like you have so many guys that have pitched in the big leagues for a good amount of time that are now starting in our AAA rotation just because of Walker Buehler coming over, Garrett Crochet, Brian Bayo. So it's like and also Lucas Giolito's coming back from injury.
Yeah.
So it's like
Hmm.
we got a great group of like veteran guys that have established themselves in the big leagues, and then you know how baseball is. Unfortunately, there's always going to be injuries.
Yeah.
It's what's on paper now is not what it's going to be on opening day, unfortunately. So it's like having all that extra depth in AAA is going to be huge for us. For if someone does go down, it's next man up.
No, yeah, absolutely, man. And like we were, doing a episode a few weeks ago talking about the American League East, man. And believe it or not, Hunter, I'm extremely high on the Red Sox this year, man. I think they're going to be super good. Like you said, though, the depth is crazy. Going all the way down to even to the minors. I mean, y'all have Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, Christian Campbell. It's just y'all seem super, super deep across the board. Not to mention Jaron Duran's still young. Devers is a good leader. Man, I mean, it's crazy, man. The Red Sox got a future bright, man. I hate to say
Oh
it.
yeah, and I mean you can't forget Wilyer Abreu. I mean,
Yeah.
almost won or he won a Gold Glove and almost was in the rookie of the year running for a while. But what a lot of people don't realize about the Red Sox is like it's very easy to get wrapped up in Roman, Campbell, Marcelo, and then a couple of like arms and stuff. But like we have so many guys that are in Double A and High A that even when those wave of guys go up, it's the famous line of "We're not rebuilding, we're reloading" is like perfect explanation for that. It's like our Worcester team. It's as soon as those guys go to the big leagues and those other guys come up, they're not we're not going to skip a beat. So I think we're in a good spot for the next decade, in my opinion.
Yeah, so we should bet on the Sox to win the next like 30 World Series, or is that what I'm hearing?
I think I technically can't comment on that,
The facts. My fault. Entrapment.
but I think we're going to be really good for a while.
Hey,
Yeah.
we'll take it.
Yeah, I agree, man. Hey, are you gonna like say you get to the bigs, man? Who you gonna be going to for advice, man? You got Cutter Crawford, like you said, Bayo. Who you looking at?
Honestly, probably Andrew Bailey. I mean, I know that's kind of a cliche answer, but I mean, that dude spent so many years in the big leagues and, I mean, was absolutely dominant. And now I get like 24/7 access to him if I need him. So, like, why wouldn't I pick
Oh,
his
yeah.
brain? But pitchers wise, I mean, Bueller, Bayo, I mean, Cutter Crawford has a similar arsenal to me. So it's like, you really can't go wrong at this
No.
point. And
No,
then
no.
one guy that I rehabbed with is Chris Sale. So it's like, you know, pick up the phone, call him if I need to. So it's like I'm really blessed to have the talent around me that I had that I can kind of reach out to if needed.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, man. Chris Sale, rehabbing with Chris Sale's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
Cy
Funny
Young
dude.
winner this year. Yeah, and honestly, he seems like he'd be a funny dude.
yeah, great dude, funny dude, and it's like you see him on the field and how competitive he is, and then you catch him in the locker room. It's like 180 degrees. It's like one of the nicest dudes, just always trying to make everybody laugh.
That's dope, man. I like that, man. That's cool. So any predictions on outside of the Red Sox, man? Who do you see winning a Cy Young award this year or something like that?
I think a guy, so Crochet, I think is going to have a great year. But one guy that I think is going to have an outstanding year is Brian Bayo. I think he's going to be right back into the mix of top pitchers in the league. And then rookie of the year, it's a toss-up between Christian Campbell or Roman Anthony. I think it's just strictly going to come down to who gets in the league sooner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who gets the head start? Because I've played with a lot of great players. Those two guys right there, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, you can't beat them. You just got to hope that they beat themselves, kind of a deal.
Yeah, for sure. Scott, you got anything else, man?
Yeah, man. One last silly little question. So when you get to the leagues, man, who is that dream like AB scenario against? Who are you like just hoping you get to strike the fuck out?
I'm looking forward to facing Josh Young again. Just kind of old friend. Played with him here, so that'll be fun. But my full answer would just be that whole Yankees lineup. You just go down from 1 through 9 and go from there. I would say Soto, just because he's the greatest hitter probably in the game right now. So it's like, why wouldn't I want to test my stuff against the best hitter? But I'm not as mad at him anymore now that he's in a Mets uni instead of a Yankees uni. So I'd go Yankees lineup first.
Yeah, dude. Young's a great answer, man. That'd be cool to see y'all face off against each other again, man. You got to get his little brother out too.
Oh yeah, I've been talking trash to Jace for like most of the off season, but no, it's going to be fun, especially with how many Red Raiders are starting to pop into the league. Like Mason Montgomery ended up there last year. I think Drew Baker's not far.
Davis Martin's up there now.
Yeah, Davis Martin's up there. I was actually texting back and forth with him, trying to learn how to throw his changeup because it's gross. But
You don't need that. You got a nasty splitter, man.
Yeah, it's just might as well mess around with something here and there, see if you can find it.
100%.
Boom.
All right, man. Well, hey, man, we really appreciate you coming on the podcast. This was cool. We're looking forward to get a couple more guys on here, man. But Hunter, we wish you nothing but success this season, a healthy season, and hopefully we see you in a Red Sox uniform.
I appreciate it. I hope so.
All right, see you, Hunter.
Thank you, man.